Join us on the last bus home.
I don't know what to tell you, Lee. If you keep going at it like you're trying to start a lawnmower, it's going to get sore.
Probably should have listened to you from the start.
Exactly. Now, I know you're not just here for medical advice.
I am not, sir.
You're not. Today, we're going back to Africa.
Are you telling me there's some more African monsters on the horizon?
Loads more.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
So, I'm going to bring you another batch. Not all of them, but just a batch.
Nice. So I remember, if I recall back to the heady days of African Monsters 1, a lot of serpents.
Oh, snake heavy. It were like town on a Saturday night.
Exactly.
A lot of snake. So yeah. Well, this time I think we're starting with a reptilian.
Ooh.
Which doesn't rule out snakes, to be fair.
No.
So, number one, we have please forgive my pronunciations again, the Chimpekwe. So, we're heading deep into the wetlands of Zambia for this one. The Chimpekwe, sometimes whispered as Chimpekwe, a name that, according to Melland, might just mean one-tusked elephant in Kawande. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's probably irrelevant, or maybe it's the most relevant thing of all. So the Chimpekwe is said to be enormous, reptilian, and a silent killer of hippos, and a nightmare for anyone paddling too close to its domain. Most sightings are more sound than substance. A splash in the reeds, a trail of spoor that doesn't match anything in the guidebooks. But those who claim to have seen it describe a creature with a smooth, dark hide, hairless, almost slick, with a single horn, gleaming white like polished ivory. A unicorn from the deep, if unicorns were built for carnage.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture that in my head, and that's a messed up creature.
Are you not getting like a smooth rhino?
I'm getting sort of bebop vibes, from Turtles, or it could be Rocksteady, whichever one the rhino was. Were they both rhinos? No, one was a warthog.
One was a warthog.
Well, whichever the rhino one was, I'm getting those kind of vibes, but does it describe much about the body? Because all I'm picturing is this kind of like almost man rhino head with like a black mane. Looks messed up.
Well, we just got a big, smooth body, dark and hairless. Yeah. Anyway, locals say it doesn't tolerate trespassers. Canoes are overturned. People vanish. And hippos, those river tanks, are torn open at the throat.
Jeez.
And just once, a Chipekwe was brought down in the Laupala, harpooned with the same weapons used for hunting hippos. A victory maybe, or just another chapter in a long, muddy myth. Now, here's the twist. Of all this might be a case of mistaken identity, a one-tusked elephant, seen through the fog of fear and folklore.
I'm not buying one-tusk elephant. No, I'm not buying that at all.
No.
Big, smooth, hairless body, big horn. I'm thinking more in the style of like unicorn, so middle of the forehead jobby.
Oh, okay.
But I like what it mentioned about it did say that, right? Like a black mane, like a big old head of black hair on its smooth, shiny body.
No, there's no hair. It's hairless. But but it had a dark hide.
Dark hide, that's it.
Yeah, so it's just its skin. So
no, I'm getting all kinds of messed up lab experiment creature escape in my head.
Okay, that's our lab next to the Nile or the Congo.
Yep. And
Okay.
if it can rip the throat out of a hippo, ooh, set that beast on a city centre one night, see what it does. Jeez.
The next one is the daddy. Now, we hinted at this in the first part. So, the big daddy of all the African cryptids, we've got Mokili Mbembe. This is the godfather. This is the Bigfoot of the African cryptids, but it's not a Bigfoot. But it's the Nessie of Africa. It's like the big monster, the popular one. So in the green, tangled heart of the Congo River basin whispers echoes of a creature known by many names. Mokili Mbembe, Emela Natuka, Nguma Monene, and even Mabilu. But the most famous among them is the Mokili Mbembe and so-called river shutter, a beast said to halt the flow of mighty rivers and strike fear into the hearts of elephants.
Damn.
This cryptid, often imagined as a living sauropod dinosaur, has captivated explorers, cryptozoologists, and creationists alike. Its legend stretches across the Ikalemba, Sanga, and Ubangi rivers. The centres around Lake Tele. So I guess that all these rivers feed into or flow from Lake Tele.
Right.
But despite its fame, the Mokili Mbembe is less a singular creature and more a collage of mythic archetypes. The river guardian, the elephant killer, the horned monster, and the giant reptile. These motifs echo across cultures, from unicorns to dragons, and the Mokili Mbembe wears them all. So the tale gained traction in the early 20th century when big game hunter Carl Hagenbeck claimed to have heard of a beast in Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, that resembled a brontosaurus. His account, vague and speculative, was likely an attempt to ride the wave of dinomania sweeping museums worldwide. Mounted skeletons of Apatosaurus and Diplodocus were drawing crowds, and the idea of a living dinosaur was irresistible. Later reports of Lieutenant Paul Greitz and German officer Ludwig von Stein placed the creature in the Congo, describing it as an elephant-sized with a long neck, crocodilian tail, and a single horn-like tooth. It was said to be vegetarian, aggressive toward canoes, and partial to a plant called molombo. These accounts laid the foundation for modern cryptozoological interest. Roy Mackle, a microbiologist turned cryptid hunter, expanded the legend further. He catalogued similar beasts, a melanatuka, a horned herbivore that kills elephants, Naguba monene, a massive snake-like creature with a ridged back, and Mabilu, a mysterious animal with algae-covered planks on its back. Each one, despite its unique name, shares traits with the Mokili Mbembe, blurring the lines between folklore and fantasy. The Mokili Mbembe is a very popular one because I know that some cryptid hunters have been to various tribes in various areas where it's meant to be and shown them pictures of brontosauruses and such creatures, that dinosaurs that look like that, with long necks and long tails.
Yeah.
And they've all claimed Mokili Mbembe.
Whoa. That's pretty cool. I also like the fact that it messes up rivers.
Yeah, it's supposed to be big enough to block the smaller ones.
That's pretty badass. Like, if I had a t-shirt that just said, I close rivers, I would say that's kind of badass. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
I take your river and I close it. What you gonna do?
exactly.
Ain't no one arguing with that. I like that. I like my cryptid or my monster with a little bit of attitude. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Lekimsa. So, picture this. Southern Ethiopia, long ago, when the Borana Oromo people were living under the shadow of something ancient and terrifying. Not just one, but two monsters called the Lekimsa, which means swallowers.
Fair play.
Yeah. These weren't your garden variety beasts. They looked like elephants, but twisted.
Oh,
Yeah, hulking, man-eating, and hungry every single day. And what they craved? Human flesh.
that's
Yeah,
good.
it sounds like town on a Saturday.
I was wondering what there was craving, given the nickname Swallowers. But
Yeah. Yeah, and hulking, man-eating, and always hungry. Yeah. An evening at Revo, following a bottomless brunch. Yeah.
whole gang of swallowers. Okay, that's enough of that.
So the Barana were running out of time. Every sunrise meant another sacrifice. Some tried to escape, scattering across the land, founding new clans in distant places. Others fled south, hoping to outrun the nightmare. But the Lekimsa followed, relentless, devouring them all. Only 30 warriors survived. 30. They climbed the Namda Hill, desperate and cornered. Among them were two brothers, one sharp as a thorn and the other brave as fire. The elder, clever and calculating, stepped forward and faced the monsters, and here's where it gets wild. He said, "By the grace of Waka, whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood will live forever." And boom, the Lekimsa froze. Then they started arguing, then fighting, and each wanted the prize of immortality. They tore up trees, smashed the earth, and turned on each other in a frenzy. And while they were distracted, the younger brother, our fire-hearted hero, grabbed two lances, heated them until they glowed like the sun, and drove them deep into the monsters' bellies. And that was it. The Lekimsa were dead. The Borana were free, and they reclaimed their lands, pushed into new territories, and reshaped the map with their courage. Now, some scholars, like Huntingford, thinks this tale is more than myth. They say it echoes real history, the Borana's clashes with the Sidama people, wrapped in legend and passed down through generations. And then there's Duga, a variation maybe, a cousin of the Lekimsa in the storytelling bloodline. Duga means he drinks. And it was no less terrifying. It's they drink and they swallow. But he was no less terrifying. Bigger than an elephant, tall as the mega escarpment. Every day a man was fed to him. But one day a stranger came, not a warrior from the hill, not a brother in arms, just a passerby. He saw Duga rolling in the dust, scratching his back, shaking off parasites, vulnerable. The stranger freed the captive, grabbed a lance, heated it, red hot, and pierced Duga's belly. And just like that, the monster was gone. So belly shots seem to be the way forward. These stories aren't just about monsters, they're about resistance, about wit and bravery, about how people survive the unspeakable and turn terror into triumph. That's the kind of tale we love around here.
Damn right.
It's not actually.
Damn
I
right.
like tales of monsters that shred.
Yeah, I like tragedy.
But hey, and ones that have scales in the shape of a sleeveless jacket.
Hell yeah. That's what I want from a cryptid. But I get it. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely, for me, that one was more in the realms of metaphor. And
Well, I find a lot of these African ones to be more folklore tales, which I enjoy. And
yeah, no, I like a good folklore tale.
I do. So it brings me smoothly to number 4. This one's more of an explanation of the weather. So we've got a Campeshi. So there's a story the Lamba people of Zambia tell about a great lake suspended above the sky, a sheet of water kept from pouring down by a fragile weir. Lesa, the creator, appoints guardians to watch that spillway. And when Lesa chooses children to stand guard, their playfulness makes holes in the barrier, and the water slips through as rain. And when grown men stand and watch, the sky stays dry. So get a kid to do a man's job. What's your lesson there?
This is it.
So, how lightning is made. So, lightning, called a Campeshi, is not a random bolt, but the sound and flash of the guardians at work. They swing and toss their knives, the imyele, across the heavens. The knives never fall, and if they ever did, the earth itself would be undone. So we're lucky, pretty good at holding on to them knives. So when lightning reaches the ground, the tale says something comes with it, a strange creature on the end of a long cobweb. It looks like a goat with a beard and horns, but its feet and tail are those of a crocodile. Usually it slips back up the silken thread, but if that web breaks, the creature is stranded, stuck and bleating like a goat. It becomes dangerous. The Lamba people will surround it, kill it, and burn it to keep their communities safe. Anyone who goes after the beast must carry protective medicine, Ubwanga Bweyamba, or risk being struck down.
Damn.
It's a story that holds the weather and danger, carelessness and duty all in one. Children's laughter that lets the rains come, knives that spark the night, and a peculiar, terrible animal tethered to the earth by a single thread.
I like it.
That was a
Nice.
simple one, just a little explanationette of the weather.
I prefer that explanation to the boring one. And that lightning comes from. Now, hang on a sec.
There's nothing
drop
boring
yourself
about
off there.
lightning, mate.
Do we know where lightning comes from? Have we figured that out yet?
Of course.
Who knows?
Thor.
I'm not so sure. There you go. Yeah, that's right. That's what I was thinking.
I mean, follow the
When the
science.
big guy's angry.
Exactly. Follow the science, Lee. It'll take you
Thought it
straight to
was.
the ball. Yeah.
Thought it was.
Oh, you'll like this one. Number 5, Nakala. Variation, crab monster.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
They call it the Nakala. Picture a thing, half crustacean, half nightmare.
Oh.
4 feet long, almost as wide as it is long, and a shell like some warped tidal relic. It moves like a crab, but what stops you is the heads.
What?
Heads, plural.
That's wild. Wow.
Yeah. One on each. Yeah. What stops you is the heads. One on each end. Each a bloated, hippo-like face with those weird bump eyes people sometimes describe as nose-like projections. It eats shadows and it does so with both mouths at once. This isn't a curious beast you stumble on by chance. In Zambian folklore, the Nakala is a sorcerer's familiar, a tool of witchcraft. Whoever keeps one is keeping it for something criminal. The harm it does is quiet and total. It takes a person's shadow and, with it, life itself. There's a grim counter-ritual for hunters. They make medicine from the Nakala's remains and stash it in a dukia horn, sealed with wax. A second horn, half filled, becomes a whistle to call the creature out. When the Nakala answers the summons and shows itself, the hunters shoot. They keep the noses, the big claws, and other talons for their medicines. Fragments of the monster turned into talismans or tools against other dark things. Short, sharp, and not the kind of story you want to meet on a late night or on the last bus home.
Truth.
So, Crab Monster, what are your thoughts?
Not gonna lie, not mad at that guy. Crab Monster is up there with the alligator dudes, with the rhino boys. I think Crab Monster, whatever you want to go with. Yeah, that's a top cryptid. I like how it started to go really.
A giant crab with two hippo heads.
This is it. Like, it got really messed up. Like, what the hell's that about? Yeah,
It's
I'm
like
all about
a
that.
thing or
Exactly.
substance or whatever, yeah.
Again, for me, that was, from looking at it from a logical standpoint, definitely some sort of messed up lab creation. I think the Americans were over there and they were doing some crazy experiments, and something escaped from the lab. Now it's loose. Stop doing crazy experiments, because,
Who do you think's doing them then?
well, I did say the Americans just because every horror film I've seen about a crazy experiment gone wrong, there's been some American dudes in there, and maybe like an evil British guy.
What about the Dutch?
I just think it's just Dutch, yeah, the scary Dutch guy messing with things in labs and creating muffed up cryptids,
That's
which
it.
I'm not mad at.
Just see a monster, or we see an animal and we think, well, we've got to mix that with this animal.
How many animals can we mix with a human and not?
Before it starts eating people.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's where they go wrong, because they're thinking, oh, shit, that's eating people. So if we add this creature, it might not eat people. And then they add this other creature and then it eats more people. And then they think, well, this has got out of hand now, and now we're going to let it go.
Yeah, or you create more cryptids to get rid of those cryptids, and before you know it, you've got a goddamn horror film.
Menagerie. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Just the thought of it, Lee.
Scary times.
Right. Okay, so number 6, we've got the Lochwater. So variations on this are the Lochwater, Luquata, and plural, Baluquata. So Victoria Nyanza sits heavy with its stories, and at the centre of those stories coils the Lochwater, known in different tongues as Lochwater, Luquata, or in the plural, Baluquata. This lake being belongs to the water and the long, slow seasons that shape the people who live beside it. From the Ugandan shore to the Kavirondo Gulf in Kenya, fishermen and elders trade the Lochwata's deeds and misdeeds like weather news. Part warning, part memory. The Lochwata is older than the names we give it, sometimes called a sea serpent, sometimes imagined as a giant fish or cetacean. It is also blamed for whirlpools and the sudden terrible losses of a fishing night. It is commonly lumped with creatures like Dingonek, but the Laquata's pedigree runs deeper through the oral map of the lake. So, there are witnesses who would stake their reputations on what they saw. W. Grant, provincial commissioner of Ginger, that's Jinja, reported a distant shape moving down the Napoleon Gulf with its head above the water. Clement Hill had a closer and more alarming encounter near Homer Mountain, where a Laquata apparently lunged at a man on the bow of his ship. Hill described a lizard-like head on a long neck attached to a vast rounded body, a trailing tail, and the impression of something powerful and deliberate beneath the surface. G. Wayland of the Geological Survey said he once heard its low bellow across the water and was shown fragments claimed to be Laquata bone, relics of titanic fights with crocodiles. Pieces of skin from those battles were told to hold potency, worn as amulets by those who believed. Now we've got the Bell account, which is the most complete field account, comes from H. Bell, who shot a creature near the Semliki River on Uganda's western border. Locals identified it as a small Laquata. Bell thought it resembled Hill's description: a snake-like head, a neck a few inches long, flippers like a sea turtle, a short tail, and a thick, rubbery carapace rather than a hard shell. To him, the Laquata looked like an odd, bulky, long-necked turtle at the surface, something that could easily be read as monstrous by the distant eye. So the Laquata was part of ritual life. The Baganda, Kavirondo, and the Wasoga of the North Shore once offered livestock in sacrifice. Then came sleeping sickness, and the old world shifted. When the epidemic struck, people said the Laquata had vanished, and some blamed foreigners, the Muzungu, for killing the creature and bringing disease in its wake. In that telling, the loss of Laquata became a story to explain loss itself. The Baluquata, which is the plural, are not famed for cunning. There is a Baganda tale about a Laquata and a monkey that lays this out gently and cruelly. The king of Baluquata falls ill, and his wizard describes the heart of a monkey. The king offers riches to pay Laquata, who will fetch one. One Laquata, friends with a monkey, flatters and lures him aboard, then admits the grim truth mid-lake. The monkey, quick as wind, says he left his heart in a tree so he could bound through branches. The Laquata, fooled and literal, turns back while the monkey leaps to safety and jeers at his would-be rescuer for his simple, watery mind.
Nice. I like that one. Sounded like another pretty messed up creature. Big,
it's like a long-necked turtle, but with its, like it says, its rubbery carapace. Sounds more like it's a shell essentially, but it's not hard. So, like a sea turtle, you see, tortoises have a hard shell, but sea turtles have like a leathery shell.
Ah, I didn't know that.
So, I think because it's not rock hard or calcified or whatever, maybe that's the difference between carapace and shell. But it's its protective layer anyway.
Right. Well, still describes as monstrous, so I'm getting not just your standard big sea turtle, I'm getting something pretty jacked.
So maybe on its flippers, just above the end, it's maybe wearing like leather gauntlets or something.
Maybe, mate. Maybe.
Badass studded gauntlets.
You never know.
Maybe
Something like
a bit of an earring or something.
Well, I'm in my brain, I'm pitching it against Crabman, and seeing who would It would win.
All right, okay. So, what? Crab Monster's the bar now?
Crabby. Well, do you know what? There's no competition there. Crab Monster's just going to mash anything.
Fair.
Let's face it. No soft shell tail is going to mess with Crabman. Not today.
Well, that's it. I mean, Crabman will just look at him and go, "Not today, carapace boy."
This is it.
Yeah. Who knows?
Take that carapace and piss off, mate. That's what I'm saying.
Or I'll snip you with one of these claws or bite you with one of my two heads.
Exactly. Whoa. What a beast.
Or I'll send in the swallowers.
No one needs that.
Absolutely.
Holy shit.
No way. You'll need barrels of dick terps for that.
Ooh, would you? Oof. Just hear that wailing from a distance and you know. Oh, damn.
Right then, at number 7, we've got the Ilomba. So there's a name people whisper beside river reeds when the buses stop running and the lamps go low. Ilomba, Malomba, Mulomba. Names that change with the mouths that tell them. Imagine, here we go, a snake with a human face.
Oh, I'm not mad at that.
A familiar that mirrors the person who summoned it.
Ooh, which territory? Hello.
At least you'll know who's out to get you.
This is it.
You know, this face serpent turns up and it's got the face of a swallower.
Yep. You're going to have to think, who the hell did you not call back?
Yeah.
After a night.
Whose drink did I nick?
Exactly.
Who did I swipe off the pool table? Yeah.
We know. Not pulling the wool over our eyes.
Yeah. But apparently, Ilomba, they're never accidental. These things are made on purpose by sorcerers who stitch lives and hunger together. Anyone said to own an Ilomba is looked at with the sort of quiet fear you hear in small towns. Still, the stories admit chiefs and hunters sometimes keep them too, not for vanity, but for protection. Mostly, the owners are men.
Whoa.
It begins like a private ritual, strange medicines mixed with water on bark, 5 duiker horns laid out. I'm guessing a duiker is probably a small deer-like animal. They've got all sorts of them.
Okay.
You know, like pronghorns and springbok.
Yeah.
These various deer types with big horns, I'm guessing. So, 5 duiker horns laid out, a braid of spiky grass woven to a length you can hold. Fingernail clippings go into the horns, blood from forehead and chest is added, and the client drinks some of the brew, and the rest is sprinkled over the grass braid. 1 sprinkle, the braid turns ashy. 2, it becomes a snake. And 3, a tiny head and shoulders appear that look like the client. Jewelry and all, until the shoulders fade and only the face remains. The thing speaks, asks if the owner recognizes it, and when the owner says yes, the pact is sealed. That's pretty dark.
That's pretty dark. I like that one.
Yeah, that would be a good film.
Man,
so
imagine that. Just
that
face.
interaction would be where, you know, if Guillermo del Toro treated us to a Ilomba, to an Ilomba creature, that would be great.
What movie is it? I think if you put just a standard, doesn't have to be scary, but you put a human head, face on any kind of animal. What horror film was it where it had the dogs with the upside down human face? I'm sure it was something like The Omen or...
The Thing.
Was it? Oh yeah, The Thing did have that, but I'm thinking of something else, more like The Exorcist or The Omen, where it was like some sort of satanic film. I'm sure there was like dogs with upside down human heads, and it just looked.
Oh,
really
the jackals. That was at one of the Omens.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, messed up.
Yeah, it's like Nightbreed, isn't it? It's something else. So, it lives where the owner wants. Though reeds and riverbanks suit it best. It demands life. Its first hunger is always for a person. The owner points, the Alomba goes. It kills in quiet, uncanny ways, eating a life, devouring a shadow, feasting on flesh, or swallowing someone whole. And when it returns and crawls over its master, licking them, owners grow sleek, well-fed, oddly long-lived. They don't die until their kin are gone, but the feeding never stops. Deny the Alomba, and the owner wastes away until it eats again. When deaths stack up, a village calls a sorcerer. They throw Nsompu medicine around where they think the creature hides. Water rises, the ground shudders, fish appear, then crabs, then the Alomba itself. They shoot the snake with a poisoned arrow, the creature dies, and its owner, tied to that by terrible mirror, feeds the pain and dies with it. That's it. I think the Alomba is by far the scariest so far.
Yeah. And not even in a straight up terrified beast way, just in a dark way.
That's in a look over your shoulder when you're at the bus stop kind of a way.
Yeah. 100%. Creepy. Creepy as shit.
Yeah.
Fan of that one.
Points, that's a tattoo is the Alomba. That's a tattoo right there.
That's what I'm saying. We're getting a good range of kind of messed up creatures tonight. You've fed my appetite with the crab man, and now I'm feeling a little bit freaked out over old snake face. But yeah, it's just creepy because it's not you seeing something that's not natural, which I always thought if you had a paranormal encounter, what your brain would actually go through at the time. Because if you think about it, well, if you had undeniable proof happening right in front of you, even though you knew no one else was going to see it, but you got to see, and you think your whole world, it's different, it's changed. Your whole paradigm shifted. You've now got to go through this world knowing that there's mental shit that other people haven't seen. Do you know what I mean? Like if I was truly haunted, full on paranormal activity, I would have to go to sleep every night knowing this world is different. I now have to put up with this entity that I don't understand. I often think about that. I think about how I truly react in a full on ghost situation.
So where do your thoughts lie? What are you like more fearful of now though? Would it be something knocking on your window, or just a ghost, or turning around and there's the silhouette of a kid in the corner?
Well, thanks to the smells, straight up shadows. Shadow mists, floating mists really do a number on me. Shadows in the corner. Just something I can't really see, but I know's there. That
but
really
I don't think, to be fair, any creature that's not a cat or dog walking into my house would be a bit of a problem for me.
Yep, and now we know about familiars. It's another thing to worry about.
Two hippo-headed crabs. Anyway, that's a digression.
Bring us back to Africa, bro.
Right, so we'll ping back to Africa for number 8, which is the Dingonek. There's a river at night in a shape that refuses to fit neatly into our maps. They call it the Dingonek, a creature reported from the Magori River and Lake Victoria. Half sea serpent, half spotted predator, half something older and stranger. That's 3 halves. That's scary already.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's how I like my cryptids, with 3 halves.
Yeah. That doesn't
Let's get
just
wacky.
frighten people. That frightens the mathematicians.
Hell yeah. And they need frightening.
Do
Goddamn
you think
nerds.
to that, Oscar?
Yeah. Calculate that, bitch.
Absolutely. Whew. Well, it's giving me the sweats already, I tell you. 3 halves. Anyway, the cleanest, most stubborn account comes from the big game hunter John Alfred Jordan, told to Edgar Beecher Bronson. And it reads like one hunter telling another about a thing that didn't want to be known. So, Jordan's encounter. Jordan's creature is vivid and unsettling. He puts it at about 14 to 15 feet long, with a head patterned like a leopard's, but lion-sized. 2 long white fangs hang from its upper jaw. Its back is broad, leopard-spotted, and scaled like an armadillo. The tail is wide and thinned for swimming. On land, it leaves hippo-wide prints rimmed with reptilian claw marks. A .303 fired behind the ear simply did nothing. The thing reared up, and Jordan fled. After that, it vanished. Some big game hunter. They're supposed to be rock hard, but when you're faced with 3 halves, there's no telling how you're going to react in the moment. So older water monster tales existed before Jordan, usually describing giant water pythons. Clement Hill claimed a dark-headed snake in Victoria tried to snatch a man on a prow. Another man, recounted by Hobley, saw something floating with a log during a flood on the Mara River. 16 feet long, spotted, scaly, otter or dog-like in the head, and tail in the water. It slipped away when shot at. That account, when stripped of its grander flourishes, looks a lot like an oversized Nile monitor. Now, monitor lizards can be quite scary when you're not expecting them. So once again, we've got misidentified animals, and in this case, a monitor lizard.
Yeah.
They can get pretty big, to be fair. They can get pretty big.
They're terrifying. I'll give them that.
Now we're good. We're getting through them now. Number 9, the Kongamato. There's a story from Kasempa district in northern Zambia, a thing that Kawande people know the name of, and the swamp they don't like to cross after dark. Giundu Swamp is where the whispers gather, a place with a reputation so foul it keeps honest folk away and shelters thieves, murderers, the kind of people who prefer the dark because the dark suits them. They call the creature that haunts that water the Kongamato. Some say overwhelmer of boats. Say it slowly, and it sounds like a warning. Overwhelmer of boats. No?
Consider me warned.
Oh, Kongamato. No.
That sounds better.
It sounds ridiculous drawing my voice out like that. It's described partly as bird, partly as lizard, but the image that sticks is worse than either. Membranous wings like a bat, a skin-sheathed body with a wingspan of 4 to 7 feet, a red wash of colour, a beak lined with teeth, and folks have tried to pin it to something sensible, a pterosaur maybe, and then given up. Some stories want the monster to be natural. The best ones refuse to be so tidy. The Kongamato's chosen spots are downstream of the river fords. There, according to the old talk, the river itself betrays you. The current falters, the water rises, canoes tip and drown. Sometimes a canoe simply stops in the middle of the channel. Despite every stroke, every shout, the explanation is blunt in the telling. The Congamato grips the boat from underneath and holds it fast. Encounters are brief and brutal. Few who see one walk away. The creature is said to be invulnerable. Arrows, stones, any projectile, it eats them and leaves no trace. When it kills, the old stories are precise about what it takes. The little fingers, the little toes, the earlobes, and the nostrils. The small, intimate parts you'd least expect to lose. Other times, deaths blamed on the Congamato read more like drownings. In 1911, several people died when the Mutanda River flooded, and the mutilations the myth promises weren't present. The swamp keeps its secrets and lets us tell ourselves which version to believe. There are ways people tried to negotiate with the thing. The charm, Muchi wa Congamato, is straightforward. Root of the melendi, ground and mixed with water into a paste, kept in a bark cup. When you must cross a dangerous ford, the paste is flung into the water with a bundle of melendi strips. It is a ritual that reads like practical magic, part prayer, part barter, part stubborn refusal to leave everything to luck. The Congamato sits in those stories between the natural and supernatural. And then finally, well, go on. What are your thoughts on that one? That's just to stay away from the swamp at night because you're going to fall in or someone's going to hurt you.
Exactly. It's a warning tale.
So finally, number 10, we've got Ichisonga, folklore of the Lambas. There's a creature the Lambas whisper about along the Kafu River called the Ichisonga. Picture something the size of a rhinoceros, a water dweller with a single threatening horn set low on its forehead, but with the slow, patient grazing habits of a herbivore. The Ichisonga moves through reed and river like it belongs there, heavy, deliberate, and mostly interested in grass. Its body suggests calm and weight, the kind of presence that makes the river itself seem to part politely around it. Despite eating only plants, the Ichisonga carries a furious, particular hate, or hippopotami, I thought it was. If it hears a hippo, it will leave the water and pad along the bank so as not to be scented, slip back in unseen, and seek out the largest bull to gore with its horn. And when an elephant falls nearby, the creature answers with a roar that scatters hunters, then stays beside the carcass for days, guarding and lingering until the flesh decays.
Nice. Who was the other guy who had a problem with hippos? He was from the start of the story. The guy with the horn and the black mane.
Oh, that'd be the Chimpekwe.
Poor hippos, man. They're just getting slaughtered.
Well, they're knobs, aren't they? Because they're really dangerous and they hurt people.
Hippos? Knobs of the swamp.
Swamp knobs.
Swamp knobs.
Yeah.
Hippos. Well, leave it up to the cryptids to get that shit sorted.
Well, that's it, because obviously the hunters aren't doing it.
Nope.
You need to call in a cryptid to fix the issue.
This is it.
Yeah. So the story gives the Ichisonga a motive. A Wuluwisha, a kind of jealousy, is not just a strange beast in the river. It's an embodiment of an emotion given weight and horn. A river spirit whose actions make sense inside the moral geography of the Lambas' world. It says he's furious and has a particular hate for hippopotamuses. But
Gotta hate something.
So that's the end of this African trip.
I picture myself waking up in a nightmarish situation where I'm in a swamp and I'm surrounded by hippos, just being a bunch of knobs.
Is he the hero we want, or is he the hero we deserve?
It's the hero we need, mate. And in the distance, I can hear that gaggle of swallowers just on the way, chanting the various swallowers songs. And who comes in to save the day? Crabman.
Singing like Robbie Williams or something.
Yeah, your general kind of harpy gossip. Do you know what I mean? And then Crabman steps in and he's like, hang on, no, this isn't happening.
Snip, snip.
Snip, snip, snip. Slits the throats of some of those hippos because no one needs the swamp knobs. And then he moves over to the swallowers and he clears that mess out. And then he comes over to me, sticks out his claw. I fist bump him and I go, thanks, Crabman. Done. I'm just surrounded by the carcasses of swallowers and hippos.
Swamp knobs and swallowers. Okay, well, this is my stop. So, ding ding, I will see you next time.
Ding ding, mate. Catch you on the next one.